Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to this insightful session, the third season of Women Everyday webinar. And I'm Priya, and I'll be your moderator for this power pack discussion for the day, which is AI Disrupted: How Artificial Intelligence is Redefining India's Tech Industry. So now, before we dive into this digital deep dive, so I would like to tell you. So it's not just a webinar. So it's going to be a think quest, like how I wanted to mention it, where experience meets experimentation, and thought leadership sparks real conversations. So is it like something very text heavy? But I'm so sorry, but we have this amazing panel today, so it's made me all more excited to go verbally forward and. It's just for the fact that it's not just impressive on paper, but the panel today, whatever we have, they are, or you people are redefining the landscape in this practice. And so, yes, without further ado, let's meet our today's leaders, the trailblazers who are joining us as the amazing panelists for the day. First of all, let's start with the lady in the house, Dr. Saumya Rawat Pandey. Hello, Saumya. So first up, we have someone who's stitched together a career across borders, disciplines, and innovations from AFMC in Pune to MIT Solan and Memorial Healthcare in Florida. And she's now leading a healthcare AI startup that's transforming how doctors make clinical decisions. So not just a physician, she's the physician of the future with AI tagged to her profession. So please welcome this the brilliant Dr. Saumya Rawat Pandey, the co-founder and chief medical officer, and someone who's proving each and every day that AI and empathy can go hand in hand. Hello, Saumya. It's amazing to have you here. Thank you for joining. And
thank you so much for
next
having
up,
me.
Thank you. Thanks. It's a pleasure for all of us. So next up, we have Mr. Narayanan Subramaniam. And sir, let me tell you, I became a fan of you when I saw your LinkedIn profile. So it's an amazing lineup of experience there. And the founder and CTO of Banashri Technology Consulting spent over 30 years building the tech with impact. So impact that totals a jaw-dropping of $30 billion from AI at the age to innovations in clean mobility. He's chasing net zero, not just by 2050, but with a 10x mindset. So I would say, Mr. Narayanan, if AI had an advisory board, you would be chairing it. So welcome you to this discussion today. It's wonderful to have you. And next we have
Thank you.
powerhouse of patents, and thank you, sir. So we have next up to as a panelist, we have the powerhouse of patents and practical AI knowledge from IBM's frontlines to IEEE journals. Our final speaker of the day, last but definitely not the least, the kind of expert whose code has its own credentials. Say hello to Mr. Anupam Chakraborty, the AI engineering lead at IBM with 23 plus patents and deep expertise in generative AI, LLMs, diffusion models, LangChain, and everything in between. I'm sorry, Mr. Anupam, this being a non-tech person, that definitely feels Greek and Latin to me, though. But that's an amazing expertise and experience you've possessed. It's definitely multiple feathers on your cap. And I also want to mention that he's not just ahead of the curve, he's catching the next one. So again, if AI was a band, Anupam, I'm sure you'll be headlining it. And thank you very much for joining today's discussion. It's wonderful to have you, amazing panelists, to join this expeditive kind of webinar today, where we are trying to reach multiple paths which are unanswered or undiscovered. So now that we have met our panel, let's plug into the mainframe of today's conversation. We are talking myths, must-haves, or you call it moonshots, and maybe even the task we had love to hand off to an AI assistant. So let's kick things off with something fun, something extremely insightful. So I would like to start this conversation with this webinar today with the question to all the speakers here. So let's start with the lady, Dr. Saumya. So busting some myths here, Saumya. What's this one thing you keep hearing about AI, which is actually not true? So I'm going to come to these questions to all the leaders here. So that's one thing in AI you think which is not true. It's a myth, but yet people continue to believe that it's not a myth. So would you like to take up this question, Saumya?
Absolutely. So I would say that the biggest myth about AI that I and we hear all the time is that AI will replace doctors. I come from that profession, and I love busting this myth because AI is not here to replace clinicians, but to augment them. Freeing them from the repetitive tasks, enhancing their diagnostic precisions, and also ultimately allowing them to have more quality time with patients. So my viewpoint is that medicine is both art and science and AI, and it's just a combination. So the biggest myth, absolutely, that AI will replace doctors. It will just enhance and augment your workflow. That's what I feel.
That's great. So should we be worried for this? At least now, should we be worried for this?
I don't think so, because even in areas where AI is being used, very rampantly, like something like in radiology, something that I really wanted to point out, you actually, in India, you actually have one radiologist, but I believe it's around 2 million population. So it's like 22 radiologists per 2 million or per 3 million of the population. So the gap is still a lot. So definitely it's not going to replace them, but it's just going to make their work easier and faster, and so that they can make quicker decisions, they can provide better care to a wide population. So yeah.
Uh,
I could not hear you.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. There is some technical glitch here.
No worries.
Yes. So yes, thank you for that amazing thing. So yes, rest assured, I think with doctors like you who have AI inculcated in your in your professional life, so there is needless to say that we have to very less worry about how the medical future is going to be. So they say AI is the future, and definitely with AI coming in, the AI intervention to the medical field also, I think it's going to be some amazing transformative expeditions and experiences for all of us. So thanks for that. And it's very amazing to see that the future medical professionals, not just they're talking about the anatomy here, but also they have to be technically very sound, which comes with an extra it comes with an extra add-on for them. I think being a tech savvy is definitely a necessity for each and every person today, and AI coming into place, I think it's definitely going to be more interesting. So thank you, Saumya, thanks for that. So I would like to come back to Mr. Narayanan now. So what is your take on this question, sir?
Yeah, I mean, I think Saumya's input was great, right? And the common thing that I hear, or thing that I hear often, perhaps projecting going forward, is that AI will soon think and drive actions like the human brain. So, I think we seem to be oversimplifying that the human brain can be modeled as as a suite of complex neural networks and algorithms. And we are yet to understand, aspects like intuition, empathy, rage, fear, so many other cognitive capabilities of the human brain that has been accounted for over millennia of evolution, right? And also to come to terms to the fact that, I don't know how many of you know how much power data centers take today in running AI-based systems, algorithms, and training. Well, a human brain, which is so complex, right, and multidimensional and multifaceted, operates just on 20 to 25 watts of power. Now, I would love to see an AI system at some point of time come down to those power metrics with all these cognitive capabilities. So yeah, I think we are very long way off. Perhaps if you're a fan of Star Trek, right, the science fiction series, yeah, maybe we'll get there at some point of time, but I don't see that in the foreseeable future, at least.
Oh God, this is amazing. No matter exactly, no matter how much ever a man tries to, go further in the future with all these innovations, God, I think will again say, "Here, hold my crown. I know what I'm doing." So that's amazing to know, and amazing to know that this was definitely a very good trivia for me. Our brain runs on so less power, and thank you very much on this insight. So thank you, sir. And Anupam, what do you think? Which the biggest myth
Yeah,
which you think which you have to explain it to people as a tech person? They're like, "नहीं नहीं, AI ऐसा नहीं है." And what do
yeah,
you think in a general way? What you always
yeah,
hear from the people, and you have to tell them, "नहीं, this is not what AI is all about."
yeah. So I will go to the opposite direction. I will say that it's not that AI does not work, right? It is like AI works, and that way, that's the reason that there are so much buzz about the generative AI and AI. But AI does not work good in all the use cases or all the
Mhm.
cases where human uses their brain, right? There are some of the use cases where we have seen that where AI works better than the human. One of the thing is that
Mhm.
in the medical uh, images to analyze the medical images, where we have seen that the AI almost reaches the human level performance. And then another thing which is very trivial is that if you have a data or in a table format, a very big data, also it is human is not able to do a very good job on interpreting the data, finding out the trends, etc. So in
True.
this type of work, the AI works good and almost similar to the human, but it is not that all type of work the AI is able to do currently, and it will not. I think it will not ever reach the human performance in at least in the next decade, right? So yeah, my perspective is that yeah, AI works like human in some of the use cases, but it is not for all the cases.
Nice, nice, good, good. So I think for all the audience and myself here, for all your leaders' expertise, the insights what we are getting, we should for today in AI language, I think we should control less all these insights whatever we are getting today. It's going to be an amazing learning experience today. But thank you, Anupam, thank you, Saumya, and thank you, Narayan sir, for this great start today. So next question again, Anupam, I want to get back to you on this. So we hear a lot about India become the tech first country, but is India actually AI ready? Because India is not just about innovations. We are also going innovation and culture hand in hand. So is India AI ready culturally and structurally? Is what I want to ask you.
Yeah. So I think India has a very, very large population of young people, right? And as we have a large young people, they are able to adapt to the new technologies like mobile, internet, etc. And there was one survey that
Mhm.
already that 9 out of 10 people who are using the internet is applying AI in some way, right? It may be the fun way that we are uh, making our Ghibli images, posting it, something like that, or
Yeah.
uh, editing our photos and etc. So those are the AI. But I feel that as um, means the interaction between the devices and the human will change in future, right? We will
Mhm.
more interact with the devices with the voice or with the images or with the gesture, etc. And to interpret that is the role of the AI is to interpret that, right? Those which are very
Correct.
I will say that unstructured data to interpret that. And so culturally, I think we are good. Means we have the good internet connection. We are ready to embrace the AI, etc. And for the structurally, I feel that what we need for the AI to do, right? And that we need, and we have the diverse languages, diverse cultures. So we want the AI which are adaptable to these cultures, to these languages. And many of the companies is also working on that, like Sarvam AI, Kitstream AI. They are building the AI for India, building the
Mhm.
models for India, etc. And Niti Aayog is also means drafting or deploying some of the standards of responsible AI, which is very similar to the UI, means European AI Act, or etc. So these are the things I think that structurally we are currently building up, but culturally we are almost uh, embracing the AI.
Great, great. So this definitely means that India has to invest more on AI. Is it what you're trying to say here?
Yes, correct. Because currently we are building up, and it is not only the India, the whole world is building the infrastructure for AI, right? It is not that something
True.
is just working, but there are a lot of engineering needs to be done to make sure that it is not giving you the some answer which are hallucinating. It is not giving
Mhm.
you the personal identifiable information. It is not giving you the hate, abuse, profanity type of answers, right? And it
Yes.
is not biased, etc. So we have to build a lot of infrastructure. We have to build a lot of software to actually make the AI, to make AI in the forefront. I mean,
Correct.
so that the AI can start the everyone, right? I mean, start serving the everyone. So not only in India, there are a lot of work everyone has to do to make AI adaptable.
Correct, correct. So that's great. So so many ideas, so many perspectives. So let's keep this data flowing and ideas glowing. So I'll come back to the next question. So Saumya, can I ask you that if at all you had a blank check, bank a blank check, and you had a dream team, what is the AI product which you would like to build for tomorrow? I was very much interested to ask you this question because you come from the medical background and the medical future of the country with the AI infused into this medical industry. I was very curious to ask this question to you. If at all you had this amazing funding of $10 billion, wow, sounds it's music to my ears. So, what is that one thing which you want to get into this society, being a medical profession, into a medical profession?
videos ले clips ले
Sure, sure. So one AI product, that we would build, and building without a budget or a tech limit,
Mhm.
would I say be like an AI powered healthcare companion, right? And specifically, I guess if I do have all that money in the world, so I would build like a rural healthcare companion, right? So obviously you do have urban areas who are technologically well equipped, but specifically targeting the rural areas, basically trained in local languages and dialects, that basically supports.
Sorry to cut you there, Soumya. I think your
Yeah,
camera, I think you should zoom it out. I am not able to see your complete face.
okay, 1 second. Is this better?
Yes, can you keep a little bit farther from your face? Is that okay?
Okay, is
And
this
tilt
better?
your monitor so that your entire head and face would be visible.
Is this better?
This is better. This is better.
Okay, all right. So a
You're
little bit
much
of
prettier now.
readjustments. Oh, thank you. Thank you. So
Yes, please.
coming back to what I was saying was, building an AI-powered rural healthcare companion, with regards to if I did have a blank check and, all of the money in the world, um, especially because as I was mentioning that, AI in technology is, people are more adaptable in the urban areas, but it's
Mhm.
actually the rural areas where you have to provide access. There should be intent, there should be trust, working at the local levels that supports ashas and phc doctors, especially with real-time diagnostic insights, including triage guidance as well as referral pathways, right? So over there you do have an mbbs trained doctor, just to augment them, right? For them to, send referrals. And another thing that I wanted to point out, right? So the system should also work offline. Remember, now AI powered systems, they use internet, they use all these data sets, and all these words if you hear gpus and all that, but something that works offline, right? um, And something to, just add to this, at Parcha, we have already started heading in that direction. And that is something that, I would say would be a vision for us as well, reaching to the really cornerstone of India, and actually rural India, and like just a rural health companion, just to help patients and doctors both.
Nice, nice. That's great to hear. So it's I'm sure it's not just forward thinking, it's fast forward thinking, I would say. And yes, that's the future even I want to live in and we want to invest in also. But thank you, Soumya. Thanks a lot for this insight. So next I would go to Mr. Narayanan. As you are a person who comes with the enormous experience. So I would like to ask you that which AI use case in India right now will actually make you say that yes, this is the future I've signed up for. As you're talking about getting in sustainability and technology, I would like to know the fact that which is that one pertaining to the AI, which is that one thing, one element which makes you say that yes, this is the kind of future I had signed up for, and which is right there, right now in our country. And what do you think about it?
Yeah, so I think I'll answer this question in two parts.
Yes, please.
Right. So one part is, I think, what's really exciting in India today with respect to AI. And the second part is just extending on, if I may, Saumya's answer to the previous question on infinite funding.
Yes, please.
Right. The first part is what's exciting in AI today in India. Definitely healthcare. Okay. I won't even list. I mean, clean tech and all this stuff, energy optimization, people know about that, right? So I'm not going to waste any time talking about that. But definitely healthcare is definitely something that at scale, right? I hope AI will help us to get, just like the point Saumya mentioned, into rural and other sectors at scale. Simply because AI is also, India today is also the cancer and diabetic capital of the world, right? So I would really be excited in seeing advanced AI therapies for specific gene manipulations for cancer immunotherapy, for example, right?
Wow.
I lost my sister to cancer in the early part of this year. So it strikes very close to, myself personally, right? Another thing that, like what Saumya talked about, and I think Anupam also mentioned, is, how do we improve the quality of education in India, right? So multilingual AI assistants, we are struggling with respect to quality of teachers and quality of education, especially at the primary, middle, and high school levels, even at university level, right? We are struggling with that. So how do we bring about this multilingual AI assistance at scale, right? Kind of to bridge this quality, kind of like what Dr. Vikram Sarabhai did with satellite-based TV education a long time ago during the early days of ISRO, right?
Yes, yes.
So this is one thing which is exciting, and I think Saumya is definitely working in the healthcare. I hope there are others focused more on the educational part. Now, if I had a lot of budget with respect to AI, what is closest to my heart is something very different. It's got nothing to do with what any of us in this room are working on, right? I call it FTMT.ai. What the hell is FTMT, if you may ask, right? Follow the money trail AI. Most of the problems in the world today, if you look at climate and environmental policy dilution, right? Issues on sustainability, which cover human trafficking, narcotics, gun running, cartels, terrorist groups, etc., all require funding or are related to money, right? And it takes investigative authorities and law and order enormous efforts to find out who are the funders of all these groups and cartels, right? This is an area definitely that AI can be used and should be used and employed at scale, right? So that we root out founders and supporters of all these entities who are jeopardizing our just and equitable future for all. That's what sustainability is all about, right? and so that they can be squeezed out of their complex web and network of illegal activities and brought to justice. Is any corporate going to do this? No, right? Is our governments going to do this? Perhaps, right?
Not sure.
But if you give me an opportunity, if I had an opportunity with money, this will be the first thing to fund, because this will help to root out, hopefully, if nobody puts a supari on me by then, right? To root out a lot of illegal activities because of which we are paying the consequences every day. There are millions who are paying the consequences across the world in this, right? And you're seeing today's India's actions at the border also related to this, right? Is illegal money funding all kinds of illegal activities. So this is what I would like to do. So I'll stop there.
That's so amazing, sir. So I think everyone will agree to me that if Siri had a face, it would have probably looked like Narayan, sir. So much to learn from you, sir. It's amazing to hear all your inputs. I think we should have an exclusive session, just you and your this enormous ocean of knowledge, whatever you have. Just if you could transfer just a few droplets, that will be amazing for us. So, and all our audiences. And sir, I want to come back with yet another question, as we are having. Let's continue with the same momentum. So with great power comes great responsibility, like how we were talking, and responsible innovation is definitely a buzzword. So what does it actually looks like in the real world? Would you like to talk about it?
Yeah, I don't want to take time from Anupam and Saumya, so let me be brief, right? So it's simple, right? Responsible innovation in anything is for good. It's very simple, right? I can put it very simplistically, good. Now, good for what? For whom? Right? That's where the differences of opinion come in, right? Like Saumya, Dr. Saumya, I should call her, right? Being in a medical professional, you took an oath. I would love to have, for example, the same code of ethics and oath for all technologists and engineering community today, right? Simply because we are developing technologies which are very radical, which are great, right? But we also have dual purpose, right? And I think as scientists, engineers, and technologists, we also have an ethical and moral responsibility to ensure that what technology we are developing does not get repurposed for malicious use cases, right? So I want to go beyond the usual stuff in AI that people talk about, responsible AI, beyond the usual data diversity, accuracy, privacy, all that stuff you keep hearing again and again, right? We need a code of ethics, right? And all engineers, I belong to this organization called IEEE. Anupam would know that. There's an IEEE code of ethics. And the first thing, if I could read out the first line item in the IEEE code of ethics. And unfortunately, most people in IEEE itself don't read the code of ethics. That's a different matter, right? But the first line is to hold paramount the safety, health, and welfare of the public, to strive to comply with ethical design and sustainable development practices, to protect the privacy of others and disclose factors that might endanger the public and the environment. Look at that. And this covers intelligent systems as well, right? We have it. We just don't seem to follow it. We seem to be lost in the stock market, unicorn, sunicorn, all these terms, right? Which we follow, but we fail to realize that we as engineers and technologists have a moral obligation towards society as well. And it's not just politicians or just doctors like Saumya and so on, right? We all are part of this, and we should be very clear on what we are doing on a day-to-day work basis. So I have stayed away from certain careers or certain companies or certain professions because of ethical conflicts, right? I'm not suggesting everyone needs to do that, but I think this needs to be a thought, right? So I'll stop there.
Nice. So innovation and business with a purpose is definitely what we have to see. I totally agree to you. And yes, so AI and technology must definitely be interesting and not intimidating is what I feel, because it's as simple as every single day I talk about, and the other day I was talking about Darjeeling and Shillong, Kalimpong, and what I see is the flight rates of the Darjeeling, Kalimpong. Now, that's not what I want. I want to use, like how you said, brain is so complex. I want to use my intelligence and my intellect also. So I don't want the assistant to that level where it's actually intimidating me and trying to give me chills down my nerve. But thank you, sir. Thanks for coming by responding in such an amazing way. So the same question to Anupam also. What is the kind of what is responsible innovation for you, and so how does that look like for you in the real world in India, in the corporate setup, where you're now associated with such big corporate giant? I want to know your insights too on it.
Yeah. So first of all, what I think, what is the innovation? Innovation is something which actually moves the current state of art to a little bit, right? It may not be a very ground-breaking things or etc. And so yes, means I will talk a little bit technical on that. And when we do the responsible AI, right? What we mean is all those things that initially Narayan sir mentioned, that it is that data privacy, that it should not hallucinate, it should not give false information, it should not spread the hate, abuse, profanity, etc. And it also will be unbiased, right? And this is very easy to say, but it is actually very hard to achieve in an AI system. And uh, and it first starts with the data. I mean, so when we actually start working, we first try to see the data, try to see and use the algorithms to unbiased it, to make it diverse, etc. But I will say it is very, very tough to achieve all these things. And that is why currently we are struggling. And that's the reason why we cannot put AI everywhere, right? And I feel that another responsible innovation will are the things that where it is touching the life of the people. Like Saumya mentioned, that it should be for the to the villages where people can get quality medical support. If it is, we can support the multilingual things, right? And
True.
also we have seen that there are education materials which are mostly available in English, but if we can translate and send it uh, to the different languages, which will help the people studying in those languages. And for me, I will just say that try to answer another question, that what I should build. I think for India, one of the things could be that the judiciary system, right? And I see that in the many countries, they are using and automating the judiciary system with the help of the AI. And since we have so many backlog of the judgment or court cases, I think that is a very good innovation for India to embrace AI for the judiciary system.
I think Anupam, that's great that you're talking about innovation and things here with coming to the judicial system. I think for sure, on a lighter note, you're also giving so many ideas for all these OTT movie makers with the kind of ideas you're trying to get in with AI and the judiciary system over there. That's a great take on it, though. Thank you very much. And so yes, so Dr. Saumya, I want to come back to you again and ask about your plans for for using AI and your the purpose, what you have to assist the rural areas people integrated with AI and giving them the best medical services and facilities. And what is your take on it? What are your future plans? And would you like to share some of your future plans which you have for the rural India, which has AI in it, which has better medical services, with like how you claimed? So we would definitely like to know about your plans for the future.
Sure. So, my plan for the future, I would say my vision would be to save 1 billion human lives by 2030. That is, I'm talking like 5 years from now, right? So obviously it includes providing healthcare for all, right? So rural India is one part of it, but we really are trying to revolutionize healthcare, right? All the way from, let's say, patient care to improving their safety, to improving patient outcomes, to even also assisting doctors, right? So even for them to basically practice ethical medicine, right? As Narayanan sir said, that doctors come and we have to take an oath, right? So for practicing ethical care, to practice empathy, right? So I would want that all the doctors, they have the power in their hands in the form of AI to practice evidence-based medicine, right? So providing them with the latest guidelines on how to treat a patient with certain conditions. So let's say, why should we be different in India as compared to somebody who is in the US, right? So we should get the same amount of healthcare, right? And the same treatment pathways. So what we are trying to do is, so my future, as I'm thinking, is revolutionizing patient care, but also assisting doctors in utilizing all these technologies so that it is just better for patient outcomes. We prevent errors, we prevent medication duplication errors. A lot of my
Nice.
patients come to me and they do mention that, Dr. Saab, I've been taking these all medicines and I feel tired all the time. And then literally when I look at their prescriptions, they are on similar combination of multiple drugs. So the only thing that you have to do is basically sort of stop those medicines, because the side effect profile, right? And unfortunately in our country, cross-checking is very less. Doctors don't have time. Hardly they have 1 minute per patient. So strengthen systems, right? So which can use all these powers, which can use all these latest technologies to prevent all this, to prevent medication errors, to prevent unforeseeable deaths, right? Something that could be prevented. So
Correct.
again, just to add, like in the future, why should we shy away from using AI where it's going to make doctors' life easier, patient lives better, and also just improving, also like saving billion years of human lives. So this is
Correct.
what the future would entail.
I think the bigger task, the Herculean task, is to actually gain trust of all these rural people over this
Absolutely,
technology than the person who is actually doing it. I mean, that's where the real
absolutely.
challenge lies, is what I think, because for the fact that, Indian brains do not work in a mechanized way. We function on emotions more than
Absolutely.
ideas. So that's how we are. That's how we are, and we are proud of it. So to to change
Yes.
this whole perspective, it definitely takes a long time. So what are your plans on that? So how are you trying to change the perspective of the rural population? It's very easy to, tier one, tier two, tier three cities. At least you can just actually convince them. So I'm talking about the rural people, and also talking about those bigger chunk of population who are totally unaware of what AI is all about. Talking about people who are 60 plus, the senior citizens, 60, 70 plus. So how do you think we can change their perspective here?
Absolutely. I think, Priya, as you mentioned, right, India is uh, basically is ready and sort of unready for AI, right? So there are also hesitations. Culturally, as you mentioned, we are a nation, we run on emotions. We are problem solvers as well and early adopters,
Mhm.
especially, in the young population. However,
Okay.
talking about the rural sector as well as, the senior citizen population, I think the readiness depends not on technology. And as you mentioned, it depends on trust, access, and intent. So
Correct.
one of the ways where, this is a personal example, what we basically did, especially in rural areas, is we actually went to the really tribal areas of Telangana and we went in person. So, our
Mhm.
team of doctors went and basically we showed them what AI can do. We actually showed the PHC workers, we showed the ASHA workers
Nice.
how it can actually, change and how basically it's going to improve their life. So basically, being there in person, showing them, showing your intent, and also, just it's a matter of trust, right? So basically, my doctors went, our team went, and it's just this doctor-patient relationship in which the patient gets comfortable, in which fellow doctors also get comfortable. So I think this is the thing, especially in when you're targeting rural systems, you have to explain to them, you have to make them understand, you have to be empathetic towards them, right? So
Correct.
this is
Correct.
what this is what we did, right? So you have to have an intent to do something like this.
Nice, nice, nice. That's amazing to hear that. So such wonderful conversation we are having here, and it's really amazing. So it's like a huge explosion of topics here, and the conversation is definitely, I think, evolving faster than the ChatGPT's next version itself. So I cannot wait to ask the next question here. So let me come back to Narayan sir. Sir, if you want to use AI and clone your own personality and just set up a task for AI, what would that be? It's like you have to outsource to your own AI clone. What is that one daily task you'll happily outsource it to your AI clone? What would that be?
One daily task to outsource to my AI clone. None.
None.
So, right, I value my human capabilities. So, but on a, it's not so much on, I think Saumya mentioned this right at the beginning, right, of a second question, perhaps. It's AI is, at least the way I look at it, is a very powerful augmentation tool, right? There are certain tasks that I may wish to choose to get additional insights on, right? The question is whether I trust the AI system enough to value its output or not, right? And this goes back to the earlier topic around, if you ask me around, is India, not just India, is humanity perhaps at large with varied, diversity that we have, culturally ready, right? So I interpret culture as a shared set of values that we all have, right? And it also incorporates various elements such as, food, faith, social norms, so many things, right? Yes, in AI today, we have reams of data which captures the essence of culture in so many ways, right? Depending on the data sets you use and how you train, the AI tool that you use could be an all-encompassing echo chamber, or it could start giving you certain insights that you might not necessarily align with from a social or cultural perspective.
True.
Okay.
Yes.
So I think, so, outsourcing to a AI clone, it could be technical, it could be certain things as, what are your views on certain topics? It all depends on, finally what the AI system is trained on, what sort of content we accept that the AI system is trained on, which is very subjective, right?
Yes.
The outputs and insights that it may give, with or without hallucination, it doesn't matter. I look at hallucination as dreams, like we dream, right? Which is fine, right? So I think that is more important. So that's why I'm just tying these two things together, right? And in a long answer, I don't really know whether we in India or anywhere else are really culturally ready for how AI is going to assist us. I don't know. It's a long answer to say I don't know. It's not just infrastructure and other things, it's content and the insights and interpretations that come from content. One is technical stuff like medical imaging and so on, right? The rest is cultural content, societal norms, right? Take a world without AI, few years ago, right? Without so much of AI. On our social media streams, there is so much of distrust. Can you imagine when we automate all those streams and we summarize them, what's going to be the output? I don't know. There's already enough confusion, right? Are we going
Yes.
to
Yes.
add more or are we going to clear the clutter? I don't really know. I think only time will tell and we have to play this thing out. But we have to be responsible to ourselves in how we outsource to AI-based systems. I think that is more important. The onus is on us finally, right?
Correct.
There's no point in blaming the AI-based system because it's only giving stuff that it's trained to do,
Trying to do.
right? So I'll just leave it at that.
Correct. Like how people say, treat AI as an intern. It'll just do whatever it's asked to do. That's all.
Yeah,
So
but it's great. I mean, you get amazing insights, right?
yes,
But then, in a technical field, that's fine, right? Perhaps. But when it comes to culture and societal norms and history and beliefs and so on, it could cause a lot of conflict, right? It
definitely.
may challenge the very basis on which we have developed,
The
cultures
whole
and
culture
societies.
stands on.
Yeah.
Yes,
So I'll
true,
just leave
true.
it at that.
Definitely, I definitely agree to that. So Anupam, you are in your office. So it's just a hypothetical situation. You are in your
Yeah.
office, and so what's that one task which you'd happily, khushi se, just outsource it to AI? Being a tech person, when you're in an office setup, just let's not take it as a daily task. I think Narayan sir clearly explained
Yeah.
that when you're in an
Yes.
office setup, what is that one task which you'd happily give it up to your AI?
Okay. I think I am in a profession where most of the tasks can be automated. So
Okay.
see, AI understands the human language, which is very unstructured, which is very complex. And it is very easier for them to understand the programming language. And that is what they're doing. So they are writing code, which is, I would say, good accuracy. They have good accuracy, and which is actually augment my work by 30 to 40%. So many of the tasks, most of the software engineers are what currently doing is that they are writing in the English and it generates the code. Yes, means we have to actually glue the code to make a higher level code, or we have to do the architecture. We have to correct it, but it is actually automating a lot of my tasks. So this
Nice,
is one
nice.
task, yeah, that in
So
the
definitely
development,
AI is definitely your best friend then in that case. That's good to
yes,
hear. So
yeah,
that's definitely great. So
yeah,
and yes, there's one final question. I think we'll wrap up this
Um,
Q&A from my side at least for this
Pri-
discussion of the day.
Priya, could I
Sorry.
add on
Yes,
one line to
yes,
Anupam's
yes, yes, yes,
response?
yes,
I think,
please.
yeah,
Yes.
right, from an engineering development point of view,
yeah,
definitely useful. I would extend it to even insights and tying in customer relationship management, bugs, defects, and so on. You now have platforms today that can ingest product requirements, right? Relate them to customer issues in the field and vice versa, apart from generating boilerplate code and
Mhm.
having, human-based supervision on that. So there are lots of power and value, right? Just adding on to what Anupam mentioned.
That's great. That's great. Thank you very much. So yes, AI is definitely a lot of a better kamka cheese. But yes, how far we should consume this cheese is what we have to decide. Like how we actually incurred from this discussion today. So finally, for all the panelists here, thank you very much. And I would like to ask you, what is one secret source of staying ahead in a world that updates faster than our software? What is that one secret which you think, sir? Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yeah, Saumya, I think you should go first.
Yes.
Sure. I can take that. So I believe one thing that sort of helps me stay up is basically interacting with my interns and with both technological as well as medical interns
Mhm.
that work with me, because they know what's going on. They know all this latest trends that's happening. What all new AI solutions are coming. What just drop. What's going to make work easier, right? So regular interactions with them, they actually come to me and they're like, hey, have you tried this new AI tool? It does this, and this is from the technological point. But I also have medical interns coming in and saying, hey, so just to backtrack a little bit, doctors have to do a lot of reading, right, which also includes reading up to date latest medical literature, latest medical articles, and sometimes those articles could be like 30-50 pages long, right? So tools that basically summarize all of that, right? So
Yeah.
this is from the medical team that I get, that whatever was the 50-page article, now you have, let's say a half a page summary of what the article spoke about. So it's just being in constant, I would say, in that environment where, there's a lot of young blood, where we have, third, fourth year engineering as well as medical students. And it's a whole new generation. And sorry to say that now, I'm coming towards the older side of my age. So I think that really helps me to stay on
Let's put
top
it
of
as
whatever's
let's put
happening.
it as experienced instead of trying.
That's better. That's better.
Yes.
So yes, just interacting with the young crowd. That really helps me keep up to date. Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. That's amazing. Yes, the always be keeping yourself in vogue with the trend is what we all every time need it, and it's like the constant learning is something which actually keeps us on our toes when we are in a profession like this, like you, Saumya. So thank you very much for that. So Anupam, what is one secret which you follow to make sure you're always you're stepping up and you're always trying to pull up the socks?
Yeah, it is similar to Soumya that the team I work in IBM is a big team, and there are so many people and younger people who explore, and we sometimes meet up and discuss the ideas among ourselves. So this is one thing, and I will have the advice for others that it is so many things are happening, right? So if you just follow YouTube or something, it will be overwhelming.
Mhm.
So I think select a particular channel in the YouTube and try to follow that channel, right? Which gives you updated on the latest things. So like that, you figured out 2, 3 channels, etc. And other thing is that you have to work hard, right? So I strongly believe uh, Mr. Narayan Murthy's advice that you have to work 70 hours per week, but it is that 45 or 50 hours you work for the company and 20 hours you have to work for yourself,
For
right?
yourself. Good. That's a
Yes.
very, very nice thing, whatever you said. 50 hours you work for the company and the rest you work on yourself. That's
Yeah.
definitely, I'm going to use it as my development starter kit. I'm going to include that. So thank you very much. Thank you, Anupam. Narayan sir, what do you think your secret sauce for you to go on with the momentum?
Yeah, so Anupam and Saumya on the youthful side of life. So I am perhaps more getting closer to the fossilized side of life, right? So the question is now, how do I prevent myself from becoming a fossil, right?
Uh,
And so
I
on,
call
right?
it I call it wine, sir. I won't that's fossil is very disrespectful. I would call it wine.
All right. Okay. So I think it's continuous learning. That's a simple point answer, right? So, um, you know, as an engineer, right now, I am going back I finished 30 years, as you mentioned, right? I look forward to the next 25, 30 years, how much ever energy that I have. And I'm now going back to the depth of math and physics. So I spend a lot of time actually going back to the depth of math and physics because that is the root of AI and machine learning, right? Whether it is advanced calculus, stochastic processes, going back to understand all of that in depth and coming back to now reading a lot of papers and academic papers from professors and universities on AI and techniques in machine learning, right? So that's one, continuous learning. I love, I was originally a robotics engineer 30 years ago, right?
Mhm.
So I'm going back to now learning biomimicry, right? As I think that's a frontier application area for AI systems and robotics going forward, right? So learning about biological systems, biomimicry, then combining that with AI, combining with my interest in computer vision and
Mhm.
hyperspectral imaging and, dynamic control for robotics, right? I think all that is what I'm now feeding into um, my head, right? And repurposing myself because this is where I feel that a lot of frontier applications are going to come in. They're going to help there are a lot of good applications, AI for good. They are also very useful from a sustainability point of view as we look at new materials, new sciences, new energy efficient mechanisms that nature has evolved over time, hence biomimicry and biological systems, right? So I think combining all of this is what energizes me, and sharing some of this with the young engineers whom I work with, right? So that people get out of um, looking at AI as, hey, I've used this API or that API, I've used this LLM or that LLM, to think more fundamental. Because what India needs today is deep tech research, right? Not just consumption. Yes, we are very good in consumption and services, but what we really need is deep tech research and a lot of academic brains going into that with a lot of funding, right? From the government and so on, and policies which are favorable to startups like Saumya's and so on, right? Whom I'm sure she will have her own stories on all the challenges with respect to policies and so on. So I think all of this mixed together, this learning, sharing, learning from others, right? Young energy is what keeps me from being fossilized. So I'll stop with that.
That's truly amazing. So yes, so what I incurred is from all three of your insights is that development happens not just by learning, but also by unlearning a few things, is what I think, which we all have to understand. So yes, that was a wonderful discussion today, and I cannot believe that it's already an hour we have spent on this discussion. It was wonderful. The time just went off poof in a jiffy, and it was wonderful. So I think we all are going to take back this as a perfect start for this season, a perfect AI toolkit starter pack, whatever we had today. It was a brilliant discussion, and I cannot thank you all enough. So as we close this session, I can't help but feel enormously where we've just completed a full training of cycle data insight, and a little bit of delightful overfitting also here. So it was not just algorithms, it was about ambition, it was about accountability, sustainability, and the advancing India through inclusive innovation. And I cannot thank I'm totally indebted today for having you all here, and Dr. Saumya, Narayanan, and Mr. Narayanan, and Mr. Anupam, for not just bringing your brilliance, but your humility and your humor and the human side too today. Thank you all for that, and definitely not needless to mention that our audience also today for this session. Thank you all. It was very nice that you all joined this curious session, and wow, it was amazing to have you all here. So thank you all. So until next time, stay curious, stay bold, and maybe let AI take over just your Monday morning meetings, but not just not harm your Friday evening celebrations. Thank you, one and all. Have a great day. Happy weekend.